Hey y'all, guess what time it is? It's the Grolic Saves the World time.
All right, the Grolic saves the world.
That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. While the Grolic saves the world. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. While the Grolic saves the world. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. While the Grolic saves the world.
Holy shit, welcome back. Brand new episode of The Grolic Saves the World. Thank you for being with us as always. I am Adam Caton Holland.
My name is Ben Roy.
And I'm Andrew Orbital.
Hot damn, we nailed that one.
That was the best intro we've done so far.
Only 42 episodes in.
We've got it. We'll falter next time so people don't get too comfy.
I want to come in one episode and we're all just shrieking. Like there's just hysteria. Ah! Ah! Just all of us are on fire to start the fucking episode. And then not even explain it. Anyway, welcome back to The Grolic Saves the World.
I wanted to ask you both. I wanted to ask you this because I think it relates right now. We've been talking about the grumps, the blahs. How do you deal with it in quar, as Andrew calls it?
Quar blahs, the QQBs, dude. I got them pretty hard.
Who's
You
this?
suffer from QQBs?
How's your diet, guys? How are you eating? And that's a big question that I don't think we've talked
Hey,
about.
how about none of your fucking business?
Yeah, that's a
how I'm
personal
eating.
question. How about you back
that?
off, Chief?
It is true. It feels like that's something weird to ask a group of people. Is
Yeah,
how
why
are
don't
you eating?
talk to me about Jesus instead? Piece of shit.
But seriously, I've changed up my diet a lot. I especially because I started to think I may have a blood sugar issue. I have not gone to the doctors yet. But I've noticed that if I eat sugar the night before, not even a lot, if I were to have a single scoop of ice cream or something, I feel terrible the next day. And I started feeling like that and noticing that it was affecting my anxiety and whatnot. So I changed my diet up and I felt much better. And it's helped with my mood, as you can tell. I'm very bushy-tailed today. How are you?
Yeah, you're
all?
really pleasant. You're really pleasant, and it's disarming.
And we remarked on this the last time we saw you. You appear to have lost some weight as
Yes,
well. Right?
I've lost.
Because we did. We podcasted in the park, and both Andrew and I did a sort of 80s sunglasses lift double take at the hot bod coming our way. Just sashaying.
It's also that high-waisted G-string I was wearing that I showed up.
Very out of place.
That you had
Very
tucked
out
your
of place.
flannel shirt into.
Just his thighs chafed red from the motorcycle ride on over.
Yeah.
Skin on bike.
Yeah, they call that the Ozark rope swing. That's what they call it. It's just a pair of G-string. It's tucked in.
But Andrew and I looked at each other and we said, "What's up with Ben's tight little bod?" I remember he said that before you got within earshot.
So I started my trainer, Tiffany, over at Blunt Force. You know I love these Blunt Force folks. I've been going there.
Now, is this Tiffany, the famous musician who played Maul's Tiffany?
She became a personal
trainer. It's a
trainer.
second act for Tiffany?
Yeah, it's
okay.
The gym is called Bubblegum Queens, and it's just it's Debbie Gibson's
I
one of
would
our
go
trainers.
so
Tiffany,
immediately.
Samantha Fox. Now
Holy
that's
shit.
good luck getting some time in with her. I mean, that's a tough one. Tiffany over at Blunt Force has been working with me on my diet, and I've lost weight because of it. And I've noticed that I've started mentally to feel better. And I think that I know, and we've talked about this when they announced Quar that we had to lock it down, shut it down. I just treated it as if the world was fucking ending, and I just went out and I was like, mac and cheese, frozen fucking pizzas. I got frozen burritos. I basically ate like Andrew does. And
Hey.
He's here to
make
babysit
pizza.
for the evening.
I get hot, fresh pizza. I don't just eat fucking frozen pizza, you piece of shit.
The parents are going out for a movie. Andrew's babysitting, and they said, help yourself to anything in the fridge. And boy, howdy, is he tucking into that
And
Ben
he's
and
been
Jerry's.
doing that for 41 years, the time he's been living on his own since he moved out 41
Yeah,
years
since he moved
ago.
out.
But did you find that during Quar that your diet changed? Did you both start
dude.
junk fooding it?
Definitely. Like Katie early on into QQ said, Sundays. We're doing Sundays. And so she would like make
Like
Wait,
the
wait,
day or
chocolate.
the dessert?
No, the dessert. The dessert.
Oh, okay.
That'd be weird. No. It's the dessert. So we a lot of like Sundays at night, which are delicious. And I've definitely been sort of responding to the end of the world.
Let me pause here. What's
Yeah.
the classic Adam Caden Holland Sunday? Toppings. Anything
Well,
you want. What goes on
it's
your Sunday?
Well, these are the ones that Katie makes. So she kind of warms up the chocolate on the stove. She puts in walnuts. She makes her own whipped cream.
What?
So it's vanilla, whipped cream, chocolate, walnuts. Those are the sundaes we've been eating at an appalling rate, like 4 or 5 a week.
Yeah,
Just
that's
too many.
a good amount of
Too many
Sundays.
Sundays.
Holy shit.
Well, let me
You're
ask
living
you,
like a 7-year-old's dream.
That was early. We're talking about over 6 months at this point. I'm not doing all of that all the time.
But let me ask you, prior to Quar, would you do Sundays, say 5 days a week, like you did?
No, not at all.
That was
Not at all.
totally
We're not on the
like
Guy Fieri diet.
We're blowing into Des Moines, Iowa, where they got the
Andrew,
coolest
that kind
Sundays
of-
around.
that comment's out of bounds. What about you, Andrew? Though, did you invert from your normal? Well, actually, Andrew eats pretty well, but you're a snacker. You've always
No, he
got
doesn't.
the
No, he
best
doesn't.
snacks.
Andrew does not eat pretty well.
I do
We
eat
go
pretty
over to-
well.
No way. We go over to your house and you're having your third or fourth breakfast taco that are loaded
I'm getting
with all
critiqued
of
from
the
5
best.
Sundays a week over breakfast tacos? Are you
I'm
shitting me?
You're
I'm
getting lit up by
exaggerating.
Domingo Adam.
It's always Domingo at mi casa.
So,
Oh
so
my
did
God.
you do that?
Yeah,
Like,
I make breakfast tacos sometimes.
No,
That's
I
not-
know you make amazing breakfast tacos because you put
and breastfeed
breastfed
tacos.
Breastfed tacos. That's the trick, is the breast milk that I use for the cheese.
It's a
Listen,
delicious
You two
acquired
assholes,
taste.
you know I have a lisp. It's not funny to make fun.
Dude, that's my hardest part of quarantine is not being able to get the breastfed tacos I love so much.
Wait, so
But I eat a lot of junk. I like to snack, but I round it out. I usually will have a salad for one meal of the day.
Andrew,
And as
me.
we all know, that's the rule. If you eat a salad for a meal, you get to eat whatever the fuck you want for the other 2 meals.
Andrew may be the most prolific snacker I have ever met in my entire life.
I like
during,
to eat like 6 times a day. I don't like to eat 3 times a day. I'd rather eat 6 smaller things throughout the day.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, even when you have a meal, you snack on it because you would like order a bunch of food for lunch, but you'd never eat the whole thing. You'd just eat like part of it and then put it aside, and then maybe later on eat it. But you would,
And also,
always,
if you go to dinner with Orbital too, he's like, "Let's try these plates," and then it's like, and he's like, "That was good," and I'm like, "What do you? There's 3/4 of that plate left," and he's
Why-
on to the next plate.
did you though when Quar came, when the QQ came, did you find yourself stocking up on more junk food than usual?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I also stocked up on like disaster food where I was like, hey, just in case I can't get food. So I got like beans and rice and stuff. But
Well, it makes
yeah,
sense.
I definitely loosened up.
It shows that you did because your body is a disaster. And I want you to, it is.
One thing that changed is I radically overhauled my cereal policy as a as a single dad trying to do his best. I have a sugar cereals are for special occasions policy. In the meantime, we're going to eat kind of middle of the road cereals or healthy cereals. But once Quar started, I was like, I can't imagine how frightening this must be for my daughter to suddenly stop going to school because of a horrible virus
I'll
ravaging
let
world.
sugar
So
be
you know
her
what?
friend.
Yeah. So the gates are open. We get whatever cereal we want. We go to the store. We get fucking corn pops, honeycomb. You fucking name it. There's
You're
no.
talking my language.
The policy has been radically revised, and I don't know
Let me try-
how to
let me
get it
ask
back
you
on track.
You ever try honeycomb with a little breast milk in there? I'm telling you, that's like top 10 dish for me. Certainly everybody I know. There's been a lot of sort of comfort eating as a result of this pandemic because everything else is out of our fucking control. So I think a lot of people have been like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to
and
eat
it's a
whatever
vice
I want.
and a form of self-care. Like, I want to eat some junk because it makes my brain chemicals happy for a bit. And yeah, I feel like shit afterward, but hey, a lot of vices make you feel like shit afterward. That doesn't stop people from doing them.
Well, and
it
also,
also doesn't make them healthy. And that's like, I really believe that we should more so now when we're spending a lot of time restricted inside, be controlling our diets more now because we're much more sedentary, because mental health is even more important now. So I propose this challenge.
sedentary my ass. I am setting daily personal records on Peloton, you son of a bitch.
We are much more sedentary. We're at home a lot more. The CDC just put out that really terrifying study on the state of mental health right now in the United States.
You think CDC exists?
Well,
Shit.
so what I propose this one is we do a food challenge. We do a diet challenge. And I've been doing a Whole30 diet, which is basically just eating whole foods for 30 days. And obviously we don't do this for 30 days, but I think 1 week of eating where we cut out processed foods, processed and refined sugars and things like that. And we try to eat as clean as possible to see if it does have an appreciable effect on our mental health and our bodies.
First of all, but two things. You know Andrew doesn't understand appreciable. Second thing. Second
We're talking
point,
about real estate, right? I get it. I know.
Andrew,
what
I'm
we're
on
talking
to the
about.
second point. The second point is if I understand what you're saying, your proposal for this week's challenge is that we do something that you're already fucking doing. Just normally in your everyday life. So
Yes.
just come get on board to what you're doing.
Yeah, but we
so
do
you don't
that all
have
the
to do
time.
jack
We played
shit
fucking
this challenge.
D&D. That's the thing
That's
that
true, and I do that all the time.
And we read, which is what you do. You don't do anything other than read, Adam. So like
D&D is 19 hours out of my life. This is drastically changing my
Have you ever
diet.
done a diet before? Have you ever been on a diet before? Either of you?
I don't think I've ever been
I
on a
haven't
diet.
been on a diet for me reasons, but I was like a hardcore vegan for 2 years.
That's right. I
Like,
forgot about that.
a level of vegan that you probably have not encountered before. Another level of vegan for 2 years, but it was not a very healthy diet. I didn't do. It was also back in a time when they didn't have all these insanely cool options for eating vegan, so it was basically like
All
vegetables
veggies.
and tofu. Yeah.
Yeah, and legumes, and you probably ate a lot of nuts.
Here's my thing. Current Sundays aside, I eat very healthy. Like I
Okay.
wake up, I eat granola. I have a salad for lunch every meal. But I certainly enjoy food a lot. I love cheese. I love bread.
Yep.
And I feel like
Well, those
is
are probably
better.
included in this diet, right, Ben?
Oh yeah, definitely cheeses and breads. Yeah, this is a Parisian Whole30.
Oh, if we're
It's
doing
a-
a Parisian Whole
They call
30,
this they call this the Normandy 30, and it's definitely French. Feel free to
No, okay.
dude, I love this diet.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. No, none of that. I mean, really,
So just eat only stuff you buy from Whole
proteins,
Foods.
vegetable. Yes, just Whole Foods. That's
great.
it.
Cool.
Are you a Prime member? No, no. It's literally just trying to eat foods like proteins and vegetables. You can't eat beans, no grains,
What the fuck?
things like that. And I'll send
What about
you.
sugar? Any sugar?
I believe. Okay, so I believe on the Whole30 diet, you can eat.
Like organic
Fruits.
raw sugar in my coffee?
No, like fruits and things like that. But as far as just dumping bunches of granulated sugar and stuff like that into your, just to get that
boo.
fixed, taking your Sunday the raw way.
Can I eat 5 Sundays a week?
I'll agree to this if we agree to down the road do Adam's 5 Sundays a week challenge.
But I don't
Katie will
see
whip
how
'em
that's
up.
going to...
Because I feel like we need a control element in this
Yeah, but I've
experiment.
already told you guys I may be having a blood sugar issue, and I don't think that's...
No backtracking.
But I didn't bother
You said,
to talk to a doctor first, so...
You said mental health. You can't have it always. Sundays are excellent for mental health. Just ask grandparents around the world.
No, but I think that this is a really great challenge.
I know you do. You're doing it, you piece of shit.
No, but I think it's good mental health-wise, and I want to pass those effects on to you. So I say we weigh ourselves at the beginning.
Oh, thank you so much for helping out with your superior mental health, for looking down from your fucking mountaintop of just ultimate mental health status.
Oh, yeah.
And
you
telling
know
me how Andrew
That's
and I
what
can be
everybody
helped.
said about old
Bengali of
Ben Roy.
fad dieting, you fucking piece of shit.
The podcast is over. I can't do this anymore.
So we're going to do this diet.
All
Yes,
right.
you are.
Yeah, we'll weigh
One
in.
week, we'll weigh in, and then we'll take a photo of ourselves that people will be able to see. That'll be great Patreon content for everybody to see.
Yeah, because people want to see.
Point of parliamentary procedure. If we're weighing in, how's that about mental health? Because we're fat shaming one another because it's
No,
about
we're
losing
not gonna
pounds.
fat
Because you're
shame each
Kate
other.
Moss.
We're just-
Nothing
We're just
fucking
gonna
tastes
see
as good
if
as
there's
skinny
an-
feels, Ben.
We're just going to see if there's an appreciable effect after we try Ben's diet. Did I
See,
use that right? Did I
Yes,
use it right?
Andrew
Yes.
knows what it means.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe we're body shaming as a way to better the world.
I
You
will
guys
say,
have changed.
I will say, if we pull anchor on this challenge, that weight loss is a pretty sensitive topic to some people. Some people battle with that shit. They battle with their body shape and images that they have there. So
For
wanna
sure.
be clear that we're not. I want to see what this diet does. I want to try eating.
Totally.
This way, but-
And anybody who has ever seen any of the photos I've posted of past Ben knows that that's a battle that I've faced myself. I was definitely heavier when I was younger, and I definitely was much heavier in my early 20s. I think I'm about 70 pounds or 80 pounds lighter than I was at my heaviest point. So I know that struggle,
Totally, yeah.
and I'm not trying to minimize it at all. But I think for the mental health piece, this is an important part. We should
Okay, so
and I could
so-
eat. But I could certainly eat better. I will not
And
deny
I
that I
could
can
too.
eat better.
all right.
So then we'll post these tasteful semi-nudes and be respectful to one another.
Yes, of
as
course.
as a measuring degree of like how it helped us over the week.
Yeah. Just to see if there was any effect even over a week. And
Okay.
what we'll do is we'll also we'll post the diet, like the link to the Whole30 site on our Twitter account. And, feel free to give it a shot yourself. Try to follow it, see how long you can do it, and see if you have any results. So
I'm going to weigh myself cheating holding 5 Sundays just to see.
Anywho, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a quick break? Why don't we listen to some live stand-up from our show that hopefully will come back someday. This is an amazing comic here out of Denver. If you don't know who she is, you will soon. So enjoy Sarah Benson. And when we return after the break, we will be enlightened and dieted and happy and
Assuming we even survive. I mean,
Shut up, Andrew.
Hello. Little question for the audience. Does anybody out there like Nature Valley bars? Good. Fun fact about me, I was actually recently rejected from a Nature Valley commercial. So, in honor of that fact, I wrote a little joke about Nature Valley bars just for you. Here goes. Hello, is that a Nature Valley bar in your pocket? Or is your dick just crumbling into 1,000 tiny pieces that taste like sawdust? Yeah, a little bit more about old Sarah. I was recently ghosted, yeah. Although I prefer the term spirited away. so well. And then I was hanging out with this guy, and he asked me to leave so he could hang out with his ex-girlfriend. Yeah. And I was like, dude, we cannot see each other anymore. And you guys, this wave of self-respect washed over me. And then I realized that self-respect is an abstract concept that will never have sex with you.
Get out of the trenches of tedious tasks like managing order fulfillment and start growing your business with ShipStation. They'll help increase profitability by automating your workflow with their simple, easy-to-use dashboard. With it, you can pretty much do everything you need to quickly and easily. Update order information, print labels, compare rates, optimize shipments, and even set up automatic delivery notifications. And it doesn't matter where you sell. Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, ShipStation can integrate pretty much anywhere online. Another great thing about ShipStation? They can help reduce costs with industry-leading discounted rates from some of the biggest mail carriers. You might even be able to get up to 89% off USPS and UPS rates. So, make this year your most profitable one yet. Sign up for your free 30-day trial at ShipStation.com and use the code Spotify. That's ShipStation.com with the code Spotify.
Okay, and we are here, and through the magic of podcasting, that appears to be a stomach growling noise.
Nice work, Ron.
Yeah, that is very topical.
Nailed it.
We are back. It's a week later. We've done our challenge, and we should first set up where the hell we are.
Right. There's
recording from
there's
now.
an abundantly clear audio discrepancy
ambiance.
between the first half, and it's because we're in Andrew's backyard, which is we've dubbed the OK Corral. And it looks like that. There's birds fighting. I think it's two red-tailed hawks in a tree, and they're being attacked by magpies. And I've seen blue jays who are loud motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And Andrew's dogs and all the insects in this backyard.
Deep in the
Lakewood, Colorado.
Yukon.
Andrew Orbital, the Hawkener.
The Hawkener? Is that?
It's
Nope.
a Hawkener.
I was like,
Not a thing.
Well, you can't be a you can't be a Hawkener.
No, you can't.
Can you be an eaglerer?
You can be an eagler.
It's weird
And
that
you
we're
can be a
going off on
falconer.
this riff when we have so
But
much
you
to
can't
talk
be a
about.
Hawkener.
We don't
from
have
this
time for this.
Stupid
Okay.
challenge.
We got to get to the dumb fuck diet that we completed over the past week. And
So
I just-
I'm going to start off and say, by that attitude, I take it you had a good time.
I found something that the creator of the Whole30 diet can eat. My entire ass.
Yeah, buddy. With no cheese.
Let's just
Yeah, go ahead and you can cue up
reset
the
it up.
challenge.
We decided for mental health purposes. I want to be clear. This is not about changing body types or trying to shame anybody or anything like that. This was not necessarily about losing weight or anything. It was more about whether or not diet would help with the blahs.
With the blahs, for sure. It was a direct attack at the blahs.
And it works for me. I find that eating leaner has helped my blahs, and it has made me less blasé, if you will.
Okay.
And
That
so
works. I'll allow it.
I sent you both the Whole30 diet, the parameters to that, what you could eat and couldn't eat. It was more what you couldn't eat than
It
what
was a
you
list of
could.
things. Yeah, but I have learned now, and we should address this, that the Whole30 diet is designed for you to eliminate all these things from your diet, then reintroduce them
Yes.
to find out what you have problems with, what's causing any sort of
Inflammation, yeah.
physical ailment in your diet.
Uh-huh.
The Whole30 will help you, almost as if like what you're allergic to. The Whole30 diet will help you determine that. We didn't use the Whole30 diet for that whatsoever.
No.
We did it for 1 week to just eat healthier in a direct attack at the blahs.
Yes.
Okay.
So we did that.
But we did track our weight and
Right,
stuff like
for,
that.
for our
Yeah.
own edification. we
And
took
I
before
will
and after
say, so when
photos.
you weighed in, you both weighed yourself in, and we'll get to the results of that. But first off, the obvious question is, did you stick with it for the time frame?
I stuck with it for 6 days straight.
Okay.
And then on day 7, I rested.
Okay.
Yeah, Adam ended it early, and there was no pushback.
I don't think there's
like
supposed to-
technically a week would have been through Sunday, and Adam's like the challenge is Sunday morning.
Yeah, Saturday night.
No
I
response.
announced- I-
Everybody on board.
That's how I felt about this. This was the longest week of my fucking life.
This was the hardest challenge by far that we've done. I mean, let's be
Absolutely.
honest. A lot of our
Absolutely.
challenges aren't really challenges. Like we have to float in a salt tank. We had to go do yoga. But this challenge was a true challenge where it took
I will
an
also
incredible
say-
amount
So fucking
of
hard.
I will also say, up
Determination.
until this point, and I'm sure impromptu dieteer Ron, he will attest, this was the most heated our back and forth through text about the challenge got.
We definitely texted each other more than we ever do in
well,
the
I
course
bet
of a week.
texting, for one, we text a lot.
Yeah.
But I felt like you both attacked me.
Well, here's the thing.
That's only because we did numerous times.
Normal challenges are a 3-pronged effort, wherein we all try something new, and for the most part, there's exceptions.
Except Dungeons and Dragons.
And jujitsu.
Right. Yeah.
You don't think it was a challenge for me to have to play D&D with you two amateurs? Come on.
But this one was like uprooting everything. I mean, your diet is so fundamental to how you exist as a person.
Yeah.
And we had to change that completely while you just fucking continue to do whatever it is that you do with no changes.
Yes.
And in fact, in the middle of the week, we found out
Oh,
that
yeah.
you
Here's a
had-
bombshell.
Okay, bombshell. Part of the thing is you can't have tofu
No legumes of any kind.
because this is a true Nazi eugenics diet.
meat,
And so
vegetables,
we're not-
I
fruit,
think that's a
and
bit
nuts.
extreme.
Well, that's how I
And
feel
then Ben
about it.
sends us a picture of a dish because we did send each other a lot of pictures of food. He made both funny pictures and then inevitably competitive, trying to one up each other pictures. And Ben sent us a picture with gasp tempeh in it.
And then Ben
Oh.
informs us, because he doesn't eat meat and just eats fish, that his doctor amended his Whole30 approach so that Ben can have
Who I can
tempeh.
Not
only see in my
amended.
head as
Not
Dr. Nick from The
amended.
Simpsons.
Okay, so
Doctor
all
upstairs,
of you
Hollywood
listen,
Upstairs School of Medicine, Ben Doctor.
all of you listening out here, this is the only thing that I amended. I added tofu, or not even tofu, tempeh.
You don't think I
to
would
it.
have liked a day off from meat? Jesus Christ. So
Ben
much
Skyped with Dr. Feelgood in Bangladesh, who told him he could do whatever the fuck he wanted to do with this Whole30 approach.
I love that you think that Motley Crue was talking about a Bangladeshi
I
doctor.
have a different take on it.
I do not eat red meat, pork, or chicken. So the only way that I can do this is by eating fish, and obviously fish is very problematic. So I don't eat beans. I'm not like eating red beans or black beans or kidney beans or anything like that. But I do eat tempeh because it is a good source of protein and it is something that is not meat. So one item, but I guarantee you there was 1 or 2 items that you both had that wasn't on it during that.
No, and I had a salad dressing that had like less than 1 gram of sugar in it, and
Oh,
as soon as
someone
I-
cheated, fuck ass.
as soon as
You
I figured
cheated.
it out, I stopped eating it and I made my own dressing,
Okay.
like some sort
So
of
you
dust
screwed
bowl.
up. You screwed up.
tramp. I
Even
also
if you say-
accidentally ate some peanuts. I forgot they were
Yeah, so
legumes. I had
whatever.
I
And I
had
didn't
like
get on
3
you
peanuts.
about that. Whatever. Adam, did you screw up?
Yeah, I accidentally had a garbanzo bean, and I was informed that was not cool. But you know what is cool on this diet? Just 8 slabs of bacon for breakfast. This diet is so misguided and fucked, and I think it really.
Oh, really? So you're a doctor. I didn't know that. When did you go to school for nutrition?
As the only college graduate of the Grolics, I feel like I'm most qualified. Just academically
gets to-
speaking, probably
Adam
the most
gets
credentialed
to-
of the Grolics.
Adam gets to apply his college degree to any field, and we can't really argue
A
it
Wesleyan
because
University
We don't know
film
what you
degree.
learned.
You guys know that has no limits. It doesn't stop when you graduate. It transfers over to biology.
It could be part of the
anywhere.
film program. We don't know.
No,
Yep,
yeah,
I
well,
ran
it's
it.
true. I've never been to Wesleyan.
Exactly.
And truthfully, I have no reason to go to Western Idaho. So because that's where it is, right? No, I don't. So
it's
here's
just
the thing.
okay.
You should not be eating. You should not take the things that they say you can eat and eat that all the time. Like they say, okay, you can have tuna fish. Well, there's a lot of mercury in tuna fish. You shouldn't be eating that all the time. It's the same with bacon. I don't even eat bacon.
Listen, here's my problem with dieting in general.
Yeah.
Is that I eat pretty fucking healthy on my own, and I'm aware of what I need to do. I try to not eat too much bread. I try not to eat anything processed because, duh. I try to eat organically. Like
Now, is that a Wesleyan term? Because duh.
Yeah, actually, you have to take it as a freshman. It's a core class.
But we looked it up, and the Whole30 diet is widely panned as not a great diet, and it's like ranked like 41st out of 42 fad diets or something. So it is categorized as like an extreme.
The reason why I
diet.
chose Whole30 is it's closest to just avoiding eating processed foods. Like eating white bread, eating pastas, eating cheese, eating things that are
keep going.
Yeah, delicious, but do affect your mood and do affect your gut health.
Yeah.
And so whenever you're trying to avoid eating in that manner is always going to be healthier.
For sure. And I totally agree with that. And also, I mean, we should say, if you need this, if you're like overweight or unhappy with how you look and you want a diet, then go for it. But I think none of us were going in with that mindset. At least Andrew and I weren't.
No, this was about seeing if it made you feel better as it does me.
Well, let me speak to that then.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's cover that first, and then we'll get into the physical side of it.
Yeah.
All right.
I felt leaner for sure. Like I felt leaner, and over the course of the week, I lost, I don't know if we're doing a big reveal, I lost 4 pounds. So it's like, how is that not better feeling? You feel like more cut. You feel, you walk a little prouder. But in terms of like enjoyment of life, I felt fucking awful. I didn't realize how much.
What did you feel like?
I felt, first of all, it's a very lonely thing that you probably experience all the time. You got to cook all these meals for yourself if your family's not on the diet.
Yeah.
So you're a man eating alone, apart from your family.
Yeah.
Which is, mealtime is kind of like a sacred thing. You bond, you sit there, you break bread. It's a lovely thing. And I was kind of like, all right, I guess I'll just go cook my dish for myself tonight. That just felt lonely. But
Cue
also,
the Charlie Brown theme.
yeah, cut to those clouds, and it's Christmas time.
Poor Adam
again.
frying up his own steak. All by
Adam's making salmon.
Again.
No cheese or butter.
Who puts
or
cheese on their
anything
salmon?
tasty.
It's one thing to eat it by yourself, I found, and another when you are sharing a meal with someone else and you're just like, and their whole meal is the stuff that you can't eat.
Right.
It's like, oh man.
And so there was that element to it that I didn't make me feel better, if we're talking about physical and emotional health. But also, I just realized, I enjoy food a lot. And I'm not trying to be too much of a downer, but, getting through life is pretty fucking hard. And so a little blue cheese is all right.
But see, I have a big problem.
And that's on the t-shirts that you sell.
I have a big problem with that personally, like ideologically. Food is not a jungle gym. It is not entertainment. It's not food. It should not be to make you happier when you're sad. It should be fuel for your body.
It doesn't make me happier when I'm sad.
Yes,
but
it does.
But
That's exactly what you were just saying.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I
you
disagree with
fucking
that. I disagree with that.
Union organizer.
Cooking is an art form, and it's fun to cook, and it's fun to combine flavors in a way that definitely makes me happy. It makes, even if whether I'm cooking healthy or cooking up some junk. But going back to how he felt, because I didn't get my turn.
Yeah. So, Andrew, you're here. Anyway,
I felt really good the first 3 days. I was actually surprised how good I felt. I felt, like Adam said, definitely light on my feet and undeniably eating healthier. It's fun to joke around about eating poorly. I I love pizza. Like, I'm a ninja turtle. But I don't eat that much
fun.
pizza. I eat red meat once every 3 weeks usually until this diet hit. So I eat pretty well. I usually will have a salad for a whole meal a day. I eat all around, but I felt definitely better. And I was definitely have not eaten consistently this well. Probably.
what
like
about,
ever.
did you notice body-wise changes?
Yeah, I also lost 4 pounds.
And I was also exercising more. You lent me some kettlebells and just putting those in the laundry room every day. I think
Just moving those out of the way.
yeah, like tripping on them. I was doing about 5 to 10 hops, like on the foot, and then picking them up and putting them in the other room.
Moving them from one room to another to get them out of my way is definitely
results. That's my new workout bed. You just scatter the kettlebells throughout the house, and then as you hurt yourself on them and move them, you'll start to notice you're toning up. But yeah, so I was doing exercises, and the first 3 days I felt great. And I know I told Ron and all of you, I was like, I've definitely never shopped. I've never had a healthier looking shopping cart.
So much green in the shopping.
So many vegetables, all these fruits.
Yep.
One little package of meat. I was like, this looks like something I'd see in a magazine, and I'd be like, fuck you. Nobody fills
does
their
this.
cart like this.
Right.
Fuck off. So first 3 days I felt pretty good. And then I started to lag in energy. I was like exerting myself more. And one evening I had like moved a bunch of shit around my house, and I just had like no energy. I was like sitting on my couch, and I had stuff I needed to do. And I was like, I was just drained. And it was that kind of, I've had that feeling before from like overexerting myself, exercising, but it was just like, I didn't do that much. And it was just really frustrating. And so I was like, I ate some more like fruit and nuts, and, was just trying to recharge back up. And it just wasn't the same charge system as with my more conventional diet, where it's like, oh, I'm just going to like put some of this like shitty nitro fuel in and like spike my blood sugar back up and
put the nos.
Get back on. Yeah, hit the
I think
nos.
he's
I
talking
don't know.
about hitting the nos.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you said, because like day 4, I think I had a similar, just so lethargic, completely out of it, and especially by the time 7 o'clock rolled around, I couldn't even like keep my eyes open. I was
That's great.
so fucking tired.
It was.
Did you sleep well?
Yeah, I slept pretty good during
Did you
all this.
sleep well?
I did not, but I think it was unrelated to the diet.
That does. I was kind of hoping maybe you would be tired at the end of the day. And
It was like,
sleep
no,
better.
the first 3 days I had too much energy. I was just like brimming with like natural
Yeah.
energy. I mean, I have already cut caffeine out of my diet. I quit drinking caffeine in like February, I think. So yeah, I didn't have any of that. And then the worst part of the diet for me was Saturday. I kind of skipped lunch. It's like a bad habit I have where I'll like get too busy or something, and I'll usually
and
just
then
have
it's
snacks.
3, and you're like, I can wait till dinner.
So I had this
didn't
like
read it.
dried like fruit and nut bar. It was like kosher for the diet. And we went to the Salad Mall to get Amelia some stuff for school. And while I was there, like my blood sugar just absolutely bottomed out. Like free fall bottomed out, where I was lightheaded and like
Which we've seen this before with you. I remember going to pitch Adult Swim, and we had to emergency stop at a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Because Andrew like couldn't even function. It was bizarre.
yeah, so just completely bottomed out blood sugar wise, and I was just like, oh shit, like, and I couldn't like use the debit card touchpad at the checkout thing. I kept like hitting the wrong button and like canceling the transaction. My
getting
brain was
foggy.
just like,
Yeah.
like this like,
Carbohydrates are
and
great
normally,
food, yeah.
there's an Auntie Annie's pretzel right there across the hallway. There's a fucking Dairy Queen Orange Julius, and so like in my normal situation, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna get a hot pretzel and an Orange Julius and rectify this immediately. But I didn't have that option. I was like, I'm gonna finish this diet. It's Saturday. We're ending it tomorrow. So I managed to get to a grocery store. Probably shouldn't have been driving,
you
but
can't even operate an ATM, and you're driving your daughter around.
yeah, let's cut that part out.
No way, Ron, you leave that in.
This challenge, I'll be goddamned if I let Adam and Ben beat me. But I went and I got some. But here's the crazy thing: is like it still did not bring my blood sugar back up. It took like the rest of the day for it to very gradually come back up. There was no NOS effect. It was definitely a very incremental. Like I went home, I had like a nice big dinner, but it definitely took way longer than it normally would. And I was like, oh, if I was eating like this all the time, I would have to prepare my life like so carefully.
That's
around
the
that.
problem with eating in this manner is because I do this right now a lot. It's funny that we're talking about this because out of the three of us, I'm the one that struggled the most with my weight, I think. I mean, I was...
As a kid, I know you did.
Yeah, well, and also in my 20s. I mean, I was a heavy dude. I was a big guy. And I think heaviest, I was 70 or 80 pounds more than I am right now.
Yeah.
And my weight fluctuates a lot. People could see it on the show. Like by season 3, the stress and eating the way I had, I'd gained weight. And if I had kept on that, I would just put on weight. That's just a body type thing. So
right, everyone's different physiologically.
Right. I know with this diet for eating in this manner, skipping meals will cause you to crash because you're almost you're, pardon the pun, but you're living hand to mouth. With your
it felt like
calorie
swinging
intake.
from like vine to vine, where it was like, oh, you gotta be ready to eat.
You've got to make sure that you're eating regular meals. Otherwise, if you skip that one, you don't have the carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are going to be your go-to fuel. Then it's fat after that.
Right.
But you both are not very big people. There's not a ton of reserves. So I'm sure when you get to that point and you're like at the ATM, your brain's like, I don't have any more left for you to push those buttons, bud. For a pin recall, you're just...
It was so frustrating.
Well,
Did you miss it a certain amount of time?
Yeah, it was like hitting the red button instead of the thing and canceling the transaction.
And apologizing.
I mean, under any circumstances that you feel like the king dipshit, like, I'm sorry.
I want you to like swear and be like, fucking Ben. Like to I'm gonna make it.
It just eats the card. There's some team of experts in Zurich working on Andrew's canceled account. Here's the thing, like, if we did this longer, like for a month or for a lifestyle,
I'd be dead.
We'd be better at it. We'd have
your body.
We'd have the pantry with ghee
and I would plan, and I would just know.
And all these things
Flax
to make it
seeds and
taste
things.
better. But I just went out and got kind of a couple days worth of meals and then did it again. So I didn't have this stocked ass pantry to do it to as best as you could do it, which I imagine it gets easier. But for me this week, like, I've never thought more about food while enjoying food less. I was wondering about every meal, couldn't wait to get to it, disappointed that it wasn't tasty, didn't enjoy it.
I had some more positive takeaways. If I can interrupt your...
Yeah, go ahead. Please.
No, sorry, keep going.
I mean, I have positive takeaways as well. But I found, and I don't want to get into the societal benefit of this, but I found myself thinking about food an unhealthy amount. I don't like to think about food this much, and I find that unhealthy to be this obsessed about food and what you're eating all the fucking time.
It's an addictive quality.
Yeah.
When people do this, they sound like addicts. It's like all I think about is drinking now that I can't drink.
Totally. And I felt bad and boring, and I had to apologize to Katie. It's like, I'm sorry, I've talked about this all day.
That's part of why I quit being a vegan, because it was one of the reasons, because it was this true obsession.
And anything that takes over your brain that much, to me, is something to be avoided and
But if there's
mitigated
something that
bit.
should take over your brain more, it's the things you put in your body and being connected to it and the cost
Tell
of
that
it.
to my butthole.
Andrew, what were you going to say?
No, tell it to his butthole.
Adam, bend over. I don't want to do this again, but it is scorching Patreon content. Those of you that are members of our Talk to Adam's asshole level.
So as we
It's a separate pod within the pod.
as we have established, I like snacking. I will graze on snacks all throughout the day. And I realize that with this diet now, that when snacks become raw vegetables, nuts, fruit, things like that, I was definitely only snacking when I was actually hungry. There was no more like, I just want a little something salty, or like I could go for a bit of candy. Like it was truly like hunger oriented snacking, and not ever like just for the fuck of it.
That's
snacking.
my takeaway too.
Which was illuminating and helpful for sure. Unlike Adam, I found my taste buds got more, they like recalibrated, so I felt like I was tasting the food more than I might normally. And I mean, it gets, if you're eating food with one ingredient instead of like 42 ingredients, it was like I could definitely like dial in on the tastes. I felt like I wasn't like bummed with most of the worst meal I had. I kept it. Should we get into our food diaries, or say I was going to talk about some of the things I ate? One of the worst things I had as a snack, I made guacamole, and Amelia was eating with chips, and I was like, "What the fuck? What kind of delivery vehicle do I have for this guacamole?" So I got some iceberg lettuce. And I was just using that in place of chips. For
His
this
video of it,
guacamole.
he looked so sad.
That's because I was so sad.
It reminded me, Andrew and I were stuck in Dulles Airport one time for like hours, and the plane just kept getting delayed. And Andrew went and got the shittiest sandwich at the concourse that was available, and he was eating it. And I filmed it. We were so slap happy, but I was just crying. He just kept going, You got this sandwich here.
This is from the airport?
This is from right here? He's
And
just like exaggeratedly eat. And I was just crying, laughing.
And people were walking by.
I thought
like,
you were just
who are these two
basically-
assholes?
We were just I was just filming him eating this shit sandwich, dying
I
laughing.
thought you were basically going to say that watching him eat guacamole with lettuce was the food equivalent of being stuck at Dulles Airport.
That also.
Kind of was.
Yeah,
Kinda
that was brutal. But then my friend pointed out, she was like, you could have just eaten that with plantain chips. That's really good. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, you'd get better at this diet.
Yeah,
the more
you'd
do
figure
it.
Yeah,
out
you
the-
find things that will
tricks.
fill that need.
The-
I eat this way because of my stomach issues and because of what happened when we were filming Those Who Can. I got that SIBO thing or whatever, the bacterial overgrowth from taking antibiotics for an ear infection, and stress, I'm sure, played some part into it. But what I found that was the funniest part about all of this was both of you and your constant battles with breakfast.
Breakfast is
Oh
the
my
worst.
God. Let me tell you what my very first breakfast was on this diet. 2 panicked handfuls of sunflower seeds.
Adam,
I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble with this
That's
diet.
hilarious.
Adam
so
every
goddamn
morning
sick of
would take
eggs
a
and
photo
fruit.
every morning of his sad breakfast he would make with a long diatribe about the nursing home he was living in.
Yeah, because it'd be like eggs with no cheese or butter and a couple
And sliced
slices of avocado.
Like I said, nothing seniors up a plate like
A
sliced
few-
avocado.
a couple of maters on the side, and I was just Meredith.
Seniors up a plate. I love how you've made
avocado
it a verb.
by itself in slices on a plate where there's no rhyme or reason why it's even going to be enjoyed with anything else. It's not like you have toast to spread it on. Nope, you don't have
So
toast.
Here, I'll read one.
Here,
This was actually a fun day in Meredith's life because they had subbed out the avocado for a couple apple slices. And
Nasty.
Meredith wrote, I don't know what came over me this morning, but I signed up for the church trip to Branson. I'm a bit nervous, but my church spoke with the home and they can accommodate all my special needs. It will be so great to see the bright lights again. It will be so great to feel another fall in Missouri. And that's how
You
I
would
fucking
see-
felt all
Every
week
day I
long.
would wake up to these from Adam. They were so
were
great.
amazing.
The other, like, I
Yeah,
kept making
breakfast
dishes.
was hard. I was
Breakfast was
never
very
excited for
hard.
breakfast
I
because
would-
I need that protein in the morning, so I got to go with eggs. And I
Yeah.
started making my own turkey sausage. It was good though.
Oh yeah.
Ben said do a smoothie, and I did a smoothie one morning, and that was excellent. When we were filming Those Who Can't, my vanity was there. I wanted to look good on camera. I would have a smoothie every single morning. Like, that's the thing. If you eat healthy, I don't feel like you should be punished by dieting, which is what this week did.
Yeah. I didn't come into this thinking of it as a punishment. I thought of it as a way to see if eating a cleaner diet, a diet more free of sugars and
Joy.
joy. That's fine. Whatever you
I
want to
don't know,
call
man. You
it.
get some ripe cherries; they're like perfect. That's a good snack.
There is still sugar and carbohydrates in this. You're just not.
Oh, I had a
eating
ton of
lot
fruit.
Of processed
I was
food.
like a
I've
Turkish
eaten
man.
more. I ate
Dry
more
figs
fruit
and
in this
apricots,
last
baby.
week than I've eaten in my entire life up
More
to
what?
this point. More fruit. I ate so much goddamn fruit.
This diet also is eerily, strangely comfortable with mayonnaise. And so, like, every dish was like, just throw a cup
yeah,
of
Adam
mayonnaise
got that
in
mayonnaise.
there.
I couldn't have potato chips. I'm gonna die on this hill.
Strange choices. in this
Potatoes
diet.
are a vegetable, and if they're cooked in a legal Whole30 oil, that should be okay.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be?
Because Ron said it wasn't.
Well, Ron, what were you doing, Ron? You're infecting the diet with false logic.
Did Ron graduate from Wesleyan University? He's not a diet expert.
He does have a college degree though, and that is applicable
That is-
to whatever he's talking
never
about.
he didn't graduate. He's never been to Central Kentucky. He doesn't even know where Wesleyan is.
I will say this. This was my least favorite challenge we've ever done. I'd rather play Dungeons and Dragons for 10 hours than do this challenge. I hate it. I hate you, Ben. I wish you had not been the best man at my wedding. I don't want you in the Grolix anymore.
I feel like
and
you're
if I can't
still
get
on the
votes,
diet.
I'm not in the Grolix. And that's how I feel about this fucking challenge.
Wow.
Okay, Andrew.
I thought it was the hardest challenge that we've done so far by far. I thought it was also the most illuminating challenge and the most educational. I would say, even though I did not enjoy it overall, I would say it would maybe the best challenge we've done, only for those reasons, not because I got to watch all the Fast and Furious movies. Like, it wasn't like what you're saying. It's like having nuts and fruit for snack. It's not my favorite snack, but it's like a good thing. You know,
Yeah.
I can see that it's like
I totally agree.
the best
There's
choice.
a couple of healthy choices I'm going to take from this. Mainly snacking. I don't need to have a handful of frosted mini wheats. I could have a handful of dried fruit. Better choice. But in terms of, I stand by my conviction that I like my approach to life in that I like to enjoy and indulge in foods occasionally. And I don't feel like that's terrible.
And I want to be clear that, like, I think part of my vitriol about this stuff is based on my past and the fact that I struggled with my weight throughout my life, fluctuating up and down. I think a lot of people know me in stand-up now as being fairly trim or lighter, but you guys know everybody. I posted photos. I mean, I was a big dude.
And you've done a lot of work to get to where you're at
I
right
work
now.
really hard at this, but I also do think that, and I truly believe that food is a way to improve your mental health. I know for myself, and especially if people are listening and you struggle with anxiety and depression, there is something to controlling what you're eating. You may not, I don't care about the body stuff. My body is still fucked up. Like, I'm never going to look.
Disagree.
Dude, I have one love handle. It never goes away. I have.
Yeah, that's all we
Usually
need,
it's
dude.
a
Just
set.
one to
Usually
grab.
you get a set of those.
Dude,
yeah, you
it's
definitely
okay.
lean left.
Yeah, and I have stretch marks on my stomach. You're never gonna have that perfect body. Shit's bullshit. Like, don't go. But I do think for mental health purposes, we're not looking at the effects that are enough of our gut on our brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that when we're dealing with quarantine and we're dealing with mental health issues right now, I do think this is the time to be more regimented with what.
Yeah, that's
you
why I
eat.
quit drinking caffeine, because I was
Right.
like, why am I going on this insane caffeine emotional ride every day while I'm stuck in my house?
Exactly.
It's a blast,
Stupid.
and you type faster.
And I quit, and it was a very good choice. Very good choice.
I love that you came out of that's the net benefit. Andrew, you type amazing when you're on
He
caffeine.
does. He's a good little typist. Certainly, Andrew and I can't speak for Andrew, but I don't think we've had the sort of weight issues and diet issues you've had growing up. And I think Andrew and I are both relatively skinny men who didn't need to diet. So this gave me a lot more empathy for people who do have major
definitely.
weight issues, major eating issues. And I had never really had to walk in those shoes. And I totally
I will
feel
tell you
terrible
this.
for people who have to deal with this.
Definitely. We did it for
constantly.
6 days and listen to us talking about
Right.
it like we just got back from
Exactly.
a fucking tour
I
of duty.
I went.
My body is luckily a type that burns off fat faster. I've never had a problem working out. I can jog. You know, there's all sorts of advantages I have that allow me to eat this way.
I was at
And
a
I've never
job
had to think about that
and
so
a
much.
guy called me fat at my job. He called me. He
Wait,
made a fat
What
joke.
job was this?
It was. I worked when I first moved to Colorado. I was working in a call center, and a fellow coworker called me fat, joking around. I think he was trying to be funny, but he made a comment about my weight, and it was the first time where I was like, and now I'm like being made fun of and judged about this. I went back and I grabbed a pair of running shoes out of my buddy's closet wearing chino shorts, and I decided to go out and run, and I ran. I could not run from one telephone pole to another. I was so heavy and out of shape, and I resolved to myself, it took me a year to be able to run 1 mile
Wow.
of running every day. And then I had to learn, after a while, I wasn't losing weight, and I didn't know why, and I started reading, and it became, well, your diet. You're not eating properly. And everything I thought, even when I thought I was eating healthy, I was not eating healthy. And that's another setback. You're being told you're doing something wrong again, even when you're trying.
Right.
And even trying that is hard. This, to anybody who struggles with it, anybody who's never done it, those are the people who ridicule people who are overweight or who struggle with their body. Those people that ridicule them are people who clearly have never been there, because if you have, you know how frighteningly hard, and it puts you in touch with every insecurity you have. And eating this regimented, from going to a place where you thought you were eating okay because you'd adjusted to it, is one of the hardest things to do. And so if anybody's listening and you're struggling, like, I know this is not an attack on anybody. It's not like a criticism of anybody, but I will say you can do it. And like, if you do try this and you notice results, or you talk to a doctor, but just know you're fully capable of it if it's a goal you've had, and you can do it. And I hope that that's what people take away is,
For sure. And on the other side of that coin, I think also you should take away, you're also fine the way you are.
Exactly.
And if you're fine eating how you're eating and it brings you mental health, then keep at it.
Yes.
It's all right.
Be happier being happier.
Moderation, like
Yes,
anything.
Exactly.
What was the best thing that you made on this diet?
The best thing I made on this diet? It's probably the last dish I made was this sort of cilantro lime chicken.
Oh, yeah, that looked amazing.
It was
You sent us a
good.
photo of that.
When
It
I
was
brought-
the first one I didn't make fun of you for.
Exactly. Well, it was the first one not saturated in mayonnaise. Ben kept being like, you probably have the biggest mayonnaise sheen right now. Just walking around like
He looked
fucking-
like an oil-slicked ocean.
Yeah, dude. I'm so sick of mayonnaise.
I didn't
That
eat it-
dish
I
was
didn't
really
eat
good. They're
any
juicy chicken breasts like baked in the oven. It was delicious.
What about you? What's the best thing you ate?
I made this like lamb sausage, this Lebanese sausage called merguez.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
I-
yeah. They were the little, like, they almost look like meatballs.
No, I did make meatballs a different night. These were, they look like cigar sausages, kind of.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
I pickled some shallots and radishes and red onions and put those on top.
Damn.
And I served it in like iceberg lettuce cups with, because it's pretty spicy sausage.
I
And
didn't send
put
you a
some-
picture, but one day Meredith had a hard-boiled egg, an apple, and some almonds for lunch.
Yeah.
Wow. Poor Meredith, huh?
Yeah, well, it was a trip to the anthropological museum. They took the whole nursing home and they packed that in a sack for her, and they dropped her at a bench for about
Oh,
7
Meredith
hours.
can eat hard nuts like almonds?
Oh no, they were pre-chewed,
She sucks on them? Oh, okay.
pre-chewed by an orderly at the nursing home.
My best meal actually was last night. We're
I
not
like
even.
how sensitive we are about people's weight, and then we just go all in on old people. Hey, if you're a senior and you're listening to this, fuck you. You should be doing something better with your life.
No, I think mine was last night. I mean, this is how I normally. I made a piece of rainbow trout. I got a fresh
I like a
caught
good
rainbow trout, and then I seared some Brussels sprouts with garlic, and then I had broccolini. And man, do I love broccolini!
Why didn't you send us that picture?
Because the diet was over.
We were
Oh, I missed
over.
that
I
part.
eat like this normally. It's not a diet. I have to do it, or I'm going to shit my brains out. All the
I had
time.
a dish with shrimp and potatoes and peppers last night with butter in it, like a fucking animal.
Well, this was. I will honestly say. I know I'm going to repeat it. This is truthful to everybody listening. The most contentious challenge we've done yet. And
I proposed for the next challenge, and my friends proposed this. For 1 week, you, me, all three of us drink for every meal. We drink alcohol for every meal. Change it up.
Adam,
Andrew and I
Like,
changed
you know
it up.
that
instead of
that's-
food or with food?
Adam,
Doesn't matter.
I've had a very problematic relationship
Let's
with
be fun. I want to see.
I have
Razor's
always
Edge
wanted to
Ben.
know how people can live there. Like, I just drove by my neighbor's house the other day. It was like 11 a.m. He's outside with like a bomber of Coors talking to
Hell
somebody. And I was like, how do you do that? In my drunkiest,
You just go to the liquor
drinkiest
store and buy a
days.
bomber, of course.
No,
Stand
but
in
I've
your
never,
front lawn and drink
even
it.
back when I drank a lot, I never fathomed 11
You know what you
a.m.
do? It's just like skydiving, bud. You just step out, put your arms at your side, and let the down happen.
Can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
Oh, man.
You can't put that.
That's a good point. That is, I didn't think of it that way.
Just saying.
Adam's so proud of
Adam's
himself
new
right
merch
now.
at his merch table. You can't.
Can't drink all day, but don't start in the morning.
You know how much better that would sell than any merch I've ever
Oh,
created
yeah,
in my
dude.
entire life.
I hope you're printing
through the
them
roof.
at the table so that you can keep up with demand.
Sir, I'd like to buy you out of product.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a quick break? Why don't we listen to some live stand-up comedy?
This is stand-up comedy from Troy Walker. Hooray! Troy is a Denver native. I mean, shit, he's a 5 Points native. That's as Denver native as it gets. And he lives in L.A. currently, but he's always a Denver dude at heart. Troy Walker, you're going to love him. Enjoy this clip, and when we come back, we will discuss next episode's challenge.
I'm not very good at the whole like dating thing. Pretty terrible about it, you know. My friends complain a lot about their dating lives because they're all in the apps, and the apps are a nightmare. But I think they only complain so much because they don't realize how horrible dating has literally always been. Like, it used to be in the 1950s when a man and a woman would go to a restaurant. The tradition was that the man would just order for her. Like, she didn't get to look at the menu. She just had to like sit there patiently, wearing like 20 pounds of satin. Just like hoping against hope that this idiot would pick something she wasn't allergic to. And that's crazy. That's a crazy way to do things. But it's also too much power. And I would never want that much power because power corrupts. And I would abuse it. There's a lot of shit she'd be trying. Like, you know those restaurants where they'll sell you a gigantic meal that no human being should ever actually finish? But if you do finish it in a certain amount of time, you get it for free? I've always wanted to see somebody do that, you know? And she would be doing it. Be all 1950s, got a suit on, got my hair slicked back, look like one of the Temptations or whatever, right? The waiter walks in, "Sir, what would you like?" "Oh, I'll have the salmon, and the lady will be taking Uncle Porker's Rib Challenge." The apocalypse, that's correct.
Okay, we're back. What a challenge. I would like to add a little postscript to the Whole30 challenge, just an anecdote.
Oh, God.
Because it's a little bit later. We've done it. We've come back to our normal diets. Recently, Katie and I wanted to go eat at this sort of hole-in-the-wall place in the neighborhood. It's very mom and pop. Old black couple owns it. Chicken wings, burgers, just kind of like the standard good American stuff. And we went there on Friday, and we went in there, and we were so excited, and we ordered burgers and chicken wings. And then I kind of was just talking to Katie about how it's been a crappy week, and I was excited to eat this stuff. And the couple overheard me say that, and they said, "Wait a minute, are you eating this food to make you happy?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they go, "Oh, then we can't sell you this food because that's really just a very vainglorious American way of doing things." And I was like, "Oh." And then I said, "Thank you. I'm so sorry. I almost lost my head." And they took the food back. They let me go. And a couple days later, we walked by, and it had been foreclosed on. So I really want to say that, Ben, I think you nailed this challenge and really taught us a lot about diet and America and how bad we are.
A long walk just to have you shit on me. So I really
thanks
that.
Ben, for teaching me and that couple about food and everything.
And I'll say, when you said it was a hole in the wall, I was excited it was a new glory hole challenge. So,
well, thank you so much. What a great episode. Just as a heads up to everybody, all my first two albums, I Got Demons and No Enlightenment Sobriety, they've been re-released on 800 Pound Gorilla. So if any of you get a chance, go ahead and listen to them. iTunes, you can download them, or you can stream them wherever you stream any of your music or comedy or podcasts. So check it out. And thank you, 800 Pound Gorilla, for being so awesome.
Big news. We have a live episode of this, Grolic Saves the World, here in Denver, September 24th at Ratio Beer Company. It's going to be
Beer
outside.
Works.
Beer Works,
You know
you
what?
son of a bitch.
You know what? I think people knew what I was talking about, but thanks. And it's going to be socially distanced, going to be safe. We're teaming up with Denver Treasure Buntport Theater for a very fun secret challenge. So yeah, check that out, September 24th.
Listen, I got to tell you about what's going on over on our Patreon. It's fucking bananas right now. We have a brand new episode of Boy Crazy out. Yeah, Boy Crazy, the cast within a cast.
Heard about
all
it.
NKOTB. We break down the hunkiness of New Kids. If you're not on Patreon, you're missing this shit. Also, we have our food diaries from the Whole30 challenge, some screenshots of texts from Meredith about her sad breakfasts, videos by me and Andrew, all sorts of great stuff. Patreon.com/Grolic Saves. We're really putting good shit out these days. I used to say that and not mean it, but now I mean it.
Oh, I'm glad we won you over. One person at a time. You can also listen to the Grolic Saves the World anywhere you enjoy podcasts. If you subscribe, that's huge for us. If you rate and review it, that's huge for us. And even better, if you tell your friends that like podcasts about us. That's the best you can do. You're like a missionary for our church, basically. And that's cool. Everyone wants to be a missionary.
Everyone likes missionaries.
Yeah, so why not go to the undiscovered tribe that is your friends and bring the good word of the Grolic Saves the World? And maybe they'll kill you for it, but you tried, right?
Oh, and we can't say it enough. Big ups to unlicensed strip mall dietitian Ron Doyle for your help producing this episode. You shouldn't be giving the advice you're giving, but the storefront is cheap.
Yeah,
It's
don't take his
inexpensive.
supplements. That's
Known calcium denier Ron Doyle. Our theme music, as always, is provided by the inscrutable, enigmatic Charlie Continental.
Wow.
Wow.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do next episode?
Listen, I want to say this. I think this is a good challenge for all of us. We've done things that I hate, but Adam and Andrew love. Or Andrew loves and Adam and I hate. We've kind of done all versions. Why don't, on this next challenge, we do something that we all fucking despise?
Ooh, and this keeps it on brand for Adam, so no change there.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I see you got the email from my reps, and I appreciate it.
Otherwise, this is my favorite point in the show. You all know it. You all love it. Why don't you go ahead and play us out, Charlie?